Hello everyone, welcome back. This is going to be a little reading update and what I hope to read the rest of this month, which is literally the rest of this week and next week. Can't believe 2022 is almost over. It's insane if you really think about it. How did it go by so fast? I don't know. But anyway, I'm also going to be doing a little book haul at the end because my husband bought me lots of books for Christmas, and they were books that I had stacked off to the side at my job at the thrift store. We both work for the same thrift store organization and so I kind of hinted at him that I was like, you know, if you ever want to buy me any gifts, you can always go look at the stack of books that I've set to the side at work. So that's exactly what he did. He went through and picked some that he thought I would probably want the most, which was great. He also got a Berkey water filter system for me, and that was kind of like a big gift of the year type of thing as well, but he wanted to get me something else, so he bought the books. Then he asked me, which did you like better, the expensive water filter system or the $25 stack of books? And I was like, the $25 stack of books? Duh. It was great. Very excited to show you guys the books that he got. I also have a book outlet order. I caved. I wasn't gonna, you know, buy brand new books again, but it happened. I decided to go on Book Outlet and see if they had any sales going on, and they had a few, and so I bought some more books. Those should be coming soon. So I guess you have another book haul video to look forward to, you know? This video will probably also be my last one of the year, unless I find time in the midst of all of the travels and family activities that we will be doing the rest of this week. We actually leave tomorrow night, which would probably be tonight because I'm uploading it tomorrow morning. That was confusing. But anyway, we're leaving soon to go back east to our families for the holidays, and I don't know if I'll have time to film another video. I'm going to bring my camera and things along just in case, but I kind of doubt it'll happen. So this will probably be the last one of the year. Let's get started. Also, the lighting is probably going to change significantly throughout this video because the sun is setting very quickly. Today is the shortest day of the month, of the year, right? You know, the winter solstice. It is officially winter, and so hopefully the days will slowly start to get longer after today. So let's go. All right. Book haul. Okay, sorry. We're gonna start with what I'm currently reading, and that is The Secrets of the... Okay, sorry. Wow, I can't do this today. Words are not wording. What I'm currently reading is The Secret Keepers of the Old Depot Grocery. This is a one I picked up from the library the other day, and I had picked up 3 other books from the library as well, but I really need to finish this so I can return it tomorrow before we leave. But most of my reads this month are not going to be Christmassy reads, simply because I really didn't have a whole lot of Christmassy books, and our library was kind of lacking in some of them, and really been mood reading this month. But another one that I'm slowly making my way through is this one, December of 1941, 31 Days That Changed America and Saved the World. So my plan was to read a chapter of this every day for this month. That did not happen, and now I'm so far behind, and it is a thick book, and the chapters are so long. It's very interesting. I'm really loving this. So obviously it's a true account of December, specifically surrounding the events of December 7th and the bombing of Pearl Harbor during World War II, and it's very interesting because he's pulling from a lot of like newspapers of like specific accounts for each day of this month and different things that people were saying, and he's also giving statistics of what things cost during that time and just random bits of information of what the world was like, especially in America in December of 1941, and I just find it so fascinating and interesting. It's just taking me a long time because there's a lot of information. The chapters are so long, and this is a thick book, but I really want to finish this, so I just need to get on with reading. We have a 24-hour road trip back east. Most of it will be through the night, so I'll either be driving or sleeping, but there should still be some time to get some reading done on the road, so I'm hoping I can do that. The book haul. I'm gonna start out with some books, along with the ones that my husband bought me for Christmas. And yes, we did open our gifts already, in case you were wondering, because we haven't really established any of our own Christmas traditions yet, because most of the time we're not at home over the holidays. We're always back east with our families. So we just opened them a little bit early. And he also didn't want me to go to work and see a big stack of books gone and know that he bought them for me. So we just opened our gifts early. But some little bit of my own book haul of books that I brought home myself. I was slowly collecting Christmas books from the thrift store, but I didn't get too many. But what I found I love so much. But this one is just a picture book of the Gift of the Magi by O. Henry. And I love this story. I remember growing up hearing this story on a little story CD tape thing. It was a CD. Yeah. And it just always intrigued me, and I always thought it was funny or silly because of, you know, if you know the story, you know what I'm talking about, of just the ironic things that happened in this story. But I love the illustrations. They're so pretty. I love this so much. And what I wanted to do was start collecting picture books like this for a future tradition for our family. And just collecting little picture books like this to like start reading every night of December, or maybe just the 12 days of Christmas, or, you know, something like that. And this is one of them that I found, and I thought it was just gorgeous. I wanted to bring it home and add it to the collection. These next ones are ones that I will hopefully also get to this month. I'm not really sure if it's gonna happen, but we're gonna try. I'm trying to reach my goal. I have to finish this one, and this will be book 71 of the month, and my goal on Goodreads was 75, so I've got to read 4 more books, so I'm hoping I can squeeze them in. But then another one that I picked up was The Quiet Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott, and it is a Christmas story. So apparently, I don't know too much about it, but apparently this was a lost story that Louisa May Alcott had written, and it was just part of a magazine until a reader happened upon it and found it, and then it was finally published. So I'd never heard of it before. I don't know if anyone else who watches my videos has heard of it before, but I'm excited to read it. It's Louisa May Alcott after all. And then the other one that I picked up myself was Silent Night, and this is the story of the Christmas truce in World War I, where on Christmas, either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, both sides of the war just had a truce and crossed the battlefields and joined up together and just had a little Christmas celebration together. And I remember hearing this story as well growing up, and it was just a very short little story on a CD again. It's from Your Story Hour. How many of my followers have ever heard of Your Story Hour with Uncle Dan and Aunt Sue? I personally loved those stories so much, and they were just great. And I wish I could find them again. I think they're online. I can maybe purchase them somewhere, but I don't know. This was one of the stories that was shared, as well as The Gift of the Magi, and I always loved this story, and when I found this book I was like, I have to pick it up because it's definitely going to have a lot more information about that night. And yes, I really don't know a whole lot about World War I because World War II is kind of the era that I've always just kind of been stuck in and been fascinated by. But obviously World War II kind of happened because of World War I, and so yeah, I like finding information, more information about that time period as well. Moving on to the ones my husband got for me. I'm so excited. If I can pick them up. Get the whole big stack here. Okay, so I'm going to start with some of the older books. The first one is Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm. So I remember as a really young girl reading like the junior edition, like the Great Illustrated Classics, I think is what the series is called. I'm gonna find it and put the picture here. I remember reading that as a young girl and loving it so much, but it's been so many years that I don't really remember the story. I just remember really enjoying it, and I can remember some of the illustrations in that book. But I wanted to find the actual original classic book and read it myself and see if it's as good as I remember, or what I remember at least. Anyway, this one came through and I was so excited. It was printed in 1904 and it's still in very good condition, and it's just beautiful. I love it. It's green. And the florals on it and just everything about it, it's just so pretty. I love when books are pretty. And then the next one, this one, is also just downright gorgeous. But it is The 5 Little Peppers and How They Grew. By, who wrote this? See, by Margaret Sidney. I really don't know anything about this story. I just know that one of my friends recommended it and said that she loves this story. But look at this, the gold foil on this and just the detail. It's simply beautiful. And this one is an 1881 edition, and it's still in near perfect condition. There's a few nicks on the back, but it's still held together very well, and none of the pages are torn or anything, and I'm just amazed that the book is that old and still in such beautiful condition. I mean, look at the spine. Wow. It's so beautiful. I'm so excited. Yeah, again, I don't really know much about the story itself. I just know that I've always wanted to read it because of the recommendation of my friend. But then the next one is another Louisa May Alcott book, and it is The Inheritance. So this is Louisa May Alcott's debut novel. And in the story of Little Women, as you know, if you've read it, there was a short little novel that Jo published, and we don't have a whole lot of details about it, but a lot of fans and the readers back in the day were like, we want to know what that book was that Jo wrote, and it was apparently The Inheritance, which I wasn't aware of at the time. I have read this book before, but I don't have my own copy. And so I wanted to get a copy, and this one is beautiful. I love it. And the story itself is really good. There is a movie out there as well that is one of my top favorite movies. I think I enjoyed the movie better. But that was also back in the day when I wasn't really reading classics, and trying to read classics, they were a little tedious. And so when I read it, I was kind of like, it seemed a little bit more boring than the movie, but I love the story itself. So I wanted to read it again and see how my thoughts, and see what I think about it now that I actually read more classics and enjoy them a lot more than when I first read this book. But anyway, that was The Inheritance by Louisa May Alcott. I think that completes my Louisa May Alcott collection, because I have Little Women, Old Fashioned Girl, Little Men, and now The Inheritance. I need to look it up. I'm not really sure how many she actually wrote, but I'm getting close to having all of the Louisa May Alcott books. The next one is not a book, but it is the first complete series of the Dick Van Dyke Show. When I tell you I love the Dick Van Dyke Show so much. It's my favorite. I was so happy to find it, and it's still wrapped in plastic, so it's unopened. I usually don't like buying DVDs and shows from thrift stores because oftentimes they're scratched, and as the person who is sorting and pricing and putting DVDs and shows out on the shelves for us to sell, I usually check and make sure that they're not scratched. So we try to make sure our quality is really good on the things that we sell. But either way, it's still always best to find them brand new at the thrift store because you know that they're going to be great. But anyway, I love the Dick Van Dyke Show. So happy to have it on DVD because it's not often available on the streaming websites. So very excited about that. Okay, then the next one is one that is very kind of dirty. It got dirty from where there was a sticker. I should try to wash that off. It seems like it's going to come off, but it is God Breathed by Josh McDowell, and it is the undeniable power and reliability of Scripture. So I've been reading a lot of books. If you've been following along this year in a lot of my wrap-ups and everything, I have read at least 2 books that I remember about Scripture and how it came to be, like how we got to the canon that we have today, and why those specific books were chosen and why others were left out. But you can never find too many resources on that. And I also really love Josh McDowell and the work that he does in the apologetics world, and so I was excited to find this one as well, and read more about that, and just just learning more about the reliability and sufficiency of Scripture and how we can trust that we have the right ones in our Bible today. So the next 3 are some more picture books that 2 of them are Christmas ones, you know, to add to my collection, like I said, and the other one I'll show you. It's beautiful. But the first one is Christmas in the Big Woods. So obviously these are based off of the Laura Ingalls series, and I was just really excited to find this one because I always loved the little Christmas story in the original books. And then this one is just a smaller one, a shorter story for the younger kids, and I'm just excited to add it to my collection and someday read to my kids so that they can learn to love these stories, and then once they're older read the actual series then. And then the next one is The Christmas Tale of Peter Rabbit. I love the Peter Rabbit collection. This one is not written by Beatrix Potter, but it is obviously based off of the original Peter Rabbit stories, but the illustrations are still very much the same. I hope it's showing up. And the story is so sweet. It's about Peter Rabbit and Benjamin come across a turkey named William who was talking about how he's been treated so nicely and how the McGregors are going to have him for supper, and he thinks that that means that he's going to come over for Christmas dinner as a guest. But obviously Peter and Benjamin realize that no, he's actually going to be eaten for the dinner, and so they hatch a plan to save William the turkey and keep him safe so that he doesn't have to become Christmas dinner. It's just really cute. I love it so much, and I was very happy to find this as well and add it to my collection. Okay, and then the last one from the stack that my husband got for me is this picture book of Anne of Green Gables. This one is, yes, from the Usborne Picture Books, and this is just Anne of Green Gables. Yeah, this is just another one where I can hopefully one day introduce the wonderful world of Anne of Green Gables to my kids and read this to them and help them get interested in it. I love it so much. Best scene ever. Wow. Very excited, very happy to have these in my collection, so thank you to my dear husband for making my dreams come true and buying me more books. And the last one that I want to show is actually a gift from Amanda, book lover Amanda. It was supposed to be a surprise. I might add in the little clip of me actually unboxing it, but it was supposed to be a surprise gift, but something was wrong with the address on my list. It was on my Amazon wish list, and it was still like set to my Georgia address for some reason. I'm not really sure. I thought I had set it to the Colorado address, but it wasn't. And so it was gonna go to the wrong place, so she had to message me and ask me about that, and so I told her that I'll go in and fix it and then just pretend to be shocked. I didn't do very well at pretending to be shocked, but I was very happy to open it and figure out which book it was, because I didn't know what she was sending me. I just knew that she was sending me a book off of my wish list. So yeah, The Mistletoe Countess by Pepper Basham. I have not read Pepper Basham yet, but apparently everyone loves her and I'm really excited about reading this one. I think it's a little bit of a mystery in this. Yes, an unanticipated marriage unites an unlikely pair to unravel a ghostly Christmas mystery. Okay, when I tell you that I love marriage of convenience slash people getting married but they don't actually love each other yet, they're just kind of brought together by other circumstances. But this first line, wow, an unanticipated marriage. I'm already hooked. I cannot wait to read this. So yes, mistletoe is beautiful and dangerous, much like the woman from Frederick Percy's past. So when he turns over a new leaf and arranges to marry for his estate instead of his heart, he never expects the wrong bride to be the right choice. Usually is. Wow. Anyway, I'm not gonna read anymore because I don't want any spoilers. I just want to dive in and just read the story with no expectations, except that it's probably going to be good. But anyway, I'm excited to try out Pepper Basham. Hopefully someday I'll get the Authentically Izzy, because man, Amanda hyped that one up so much, and I was like, I need that book in my life, and I can't wait to get it. So excited to read it. But anyway, that's not part of this video. So that is my book haul. I will do a reading wrap up. You probably will see that in January. Unless I somehow happen to get all of the books read that I want to get read this month and get the video recorded and uploaded before next year. But it's probably not going to happen. That is my book haul, a little bit of a reading update. I'm gonna quickly say this video is probably getting a little long, but I did want to give a heads up, and you'll know why. I wanted to give a heads up of what I'm planning on doing as far like what my reading plans are, at least for the beginning of the year, specifically January and February. So I've been doing this specific challenge for the last 3 years. I didn't do it this past year. I tried, but it was when I was pregnant and very sick before we lost the baby, and I just did not get a lot of reading done at all. Like through January is when I was very sick, and then I lost the baby in February and only read 1 book that month. It was just not a season of my life that I was wanting to read, and so I did not fully participate in the challenge. I think I read 3 books for that challenge in January, but that's it. But let me tell you what this challenge is. It is called the Brighter Winter Challenge, and it is hosted by Daughters of Promise, which is an Anabaptist magazine. I think it's quarterly magazine that goes out. It is more targeted towards the Anabaptists, which would be like the Mennonites, Amish Mennonite community, but I think anyone would actually find what is in the magazines. I actually have a few. I should show you guys. I'm currently not subscribed to the magazine right now, but I have always loved receiving them when I was subscribed, and I think they're just they're just gorgeous. So this one was the fall of 2019, but they're so well put together, like just gorgeous. Gorgeous pictures and the articles in here. Lots of helpful tips like cooking, housekeeping, but also like personal things like going through hard things in life. So really I would think anyone would actually find these magazines quite interesting. But they started this Brighter Winter Reading Challenge several years ago, and specifically do it over January and February because it is the longer, more drawn out winter days where we're mostly stuck inside. And you know, if you don't live in Colorado, the days can be gray and dreary. We have lots of sunshine here in Colorado. I think it's like 350 days out of the year we have sunshine, and then the rest is sometimes rain and then sometimes snow. It varies, obviously, every year, but we get lots of sunshine out here, so I can't really relate to the gray dreariness of winter as much as some people maybe, but I do get it. Like the winter, like it's still cold here and it just gets long, and we are mostly cooped up inside, and so it's a great time to read. The reason why I love their challenges so much is because they have introduced me to many books that I don't normally gravitate towards, and that's kind of their goal, so that, you know, just to get people introduced to different books outside of their comfort zone. And the challenges are also fun. I just received the challenges today, but I think there's still time to go sign up for it if you want to at least look at it and see what the challenges are, and see if you want to participate. I know that there's so many challenges going on next year. Some of my fellow booktubers have created their own that a lot of people are going to be participating in, and this is just another big new one. So if you're not able to join, that's okay, but I am going to link everything down below so that you can go sign up, get the email updates, and also you'll receive the reading grids, like the challenges. Yeah, you'll still have time to get all of those before the year begins. They do have pretty strict rules as far as like you have to complete a book, like read it in its entirety to be able to check off a challenge. So even if it's a book that you'd want to DNF, you can't DNF and count it towards that challenge. Like you have to read it in its entirety. But the cool thing is every week they're going to be, like throughout January and February, they are going to be doing a giveaway, and if you sign up to do this challenge, you are automatically included in the drawing. Like your name is just automatically in there, and so you have a chance to win something every week. And then at the end of February, you, depending on the amount of challenges that you've completed in each month, you will get a certain amount of entries into a grand prize at the end of this thing. So it's a little bit more of a motivation to get lots of reading done. The challenges this year look so fun. They are most times similar every year, but then they just throw in a couple new ones. And I think it's really cool because you can use one book to complete 2 challenges, and they also allow for audiobooks, like 2 per month, throughout the challenge to be able to fulfill a prompt as well. But it's mostly physical reading, and the books have to be 100+ pages, but they can be middle grade books. So you're gonna have a wide variety of things to choose from for these challenges. And so just a few of their challenges that they have for this year are read a book in which the main character is 60+, and you could choose a book for that, and then also complete with that same book, complete another challenge of read somewhere you don't typically, wow, I can't say that word, and read somewhere you don't typically read. So for me, I don't know, I could maybe go to a coffee shop or something, because most times I do my reading at home. I sometimes take my book out in public and read, but it's not like a habitual place that I go to read. Or I could go to the library, because I've never really just went and sat at the library and read, you know? So like you can pick different things like that. Another one is read a book about a disability, read a book by an author of a different ethnicity than you, read a book with siblings or families that, or a family unit as the main characters, and then just more fun things like do a blind book exchange with a friend, look up 5 definitions of a word that in a book that you were reading for the challenge. So like if there are 5 new words that you've never really seen before that are new to you that you don't know the definition of, you look it off, and that is one challenge that you can complete by using one of the other books in the challenge. So yeah, there's so many more. They have at least, yeah, they're like 20 challenges per month, but like I said, you can use a book to check off 2 of the challenges. So it's not like you have to read 20 books. You can read 10 and fulfill all the challenges if you can make it. And I love doing that because I love to find books that I can automatically check off a second challenge for that specific book. But either way, I'm so excited to do this challenge, and I hope I can actually complete it this time around. But anyway, it's so much fun, and I always enjoy it, and I love the books that I have discovered through this challenge as well. They have an Instagram page as well, which I will link that, where they share all of their information, their website, and then they also, throughout the reading challenge, they'll give recommendations for specific challenges. Like if you're struggling, you can go on and ask them, can you ask people to send in recommendations for this specific challenge, and people who are following along will send their favorite recommendations for those types of things. And so it's like a whole little community. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm gonna link all of that down below if this sounds interesting to you, and you can check it out and sign up if you're interested. So yeah, it's all free, and you, like I said, you have chances to win some giveaways as well throughout the month. A little reward for reading, you know? It's a win-win situation. But anyway, I'm gonna close this video off before it gets too extremely long. But thank you so much for watching, and if I don't see you guys again, I will see you next year. Hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas, lots of good food and family and friends time, and yeah, just hope you all have a wonderful time. Bye.